guys, Brandon Splay from ThirstGym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the Sumo deadlift off blocks versus bands. This is a great exercise to develop the lockout strength and the top end strength of your deadlift, particularly in the sumo stance. So what you're going to need to do this exercise, you're going to need something you can elevate your plates on. So we're actually going to get them a couple inches off the ground. And then a way to rig up bands. However you choose to do that, whether that be with band peg attachments, wrapped around the bar through your feet, anything like that, strapped to dumbbells, however you want to do it, whatever works best for you. Now the first thing we're talking about is why you would elevate the elevate the bar on blocks, and really what that does is it decreases range of motion. So if you've got low back issues or you're trying to hammer the lockout piece of your deadlift, this can be a great way to get the weight off the floor. Generally means you're going to be able to lift more weight. However, I would tell you that a low block setup like this, you may be surprised that you actually can't deadlift as well because you can't get as much leg drive off the floor. I was a person like that when I competed, where anything I pulled off around these 2 inches of blocks always gave me trouble. I couldn't get as much leg drive. I wasn't as snappy. So this was a great way for me to build my deadlift without having to actually pull all the way from the floor, and then I could develop my lockout as well. The bands, same concept. As the bar comes off the ground, we're getting more band tension. That's going to make the load in our hands harder, make us use our glutes and our hamstrings to drive our hips forward. So what we're going to do, we're going to set everything else like our normal sumo deadlift. So feet out good and wide wherever your sumo stance would be. And then with these band pegs, it's nice. They're not in my way. I'm going to keep my chest up good and tall. Breath towards the top. Hips are going to go back. I'm going to reach, pull the slack out, and then bring my hips towards the bar. So again, big tall breath. Okay, so what we're going to try to do here is I really like to take separate reps here if I need to, rather than knock out a bunch of reps, unless if it's just one top end set. Another thing you can do that I didn't mention is you can use this as dynamic effort work. So if you're a conjugate person, you want to do some speed work, you can do speed work off these blocks. Raise your percentages just a little compared to normal, because you should have a little bit more pop with having to move the rest of range of motion. But again, that works relatively good as well. Now, when it comes to programming outside of your speed work, if that's what you choose to do, I really like this as a max effort rotation, or you can use it as a supplemental movement to build your deadlift if you aren't a conjugate based person. So I really like working up to a 1 or 2 rep max for an exercise like this. Use this to track compared to what my pull is off the floor with the exact same bands, and then I can notice a correlation of what's working well and what's not. If this happens to be something that's not as strong as what I can pull from the floor, then that tells me there's something positionally that I need to work on in this area or from the floor. Or if it is super strong, that definitely tells me there's a positional difference off the floor that I need to address to make sure the weight enters this position, because obviously I'm strong at it. Now, generally you are going to be able to lift more weight because you are pulling at less range of motion, but like I said, that doesn't always be the case. Now, if you're going to use this to build your deadlift supplementally, let's say you do your top end work of deadlift for the day, you decide to throw some bands and rig up some blocks, then what you're going to do is probably just 1 to 3 sets of 2 to 3 reps. Keep the reps on the lower end, leaving a little bit of weight in the tank, and then really trying to focus on your position and your lockout as you see fit. So that's how I would use this exercise to help your deadlift. Some general key coaching points: as long as you can sumo deadlift well and you got all those in line, everything else should stay the same. The big thing is just to make sure that you wedge in hard. Understand you're not going to have near as amount of leg drive with your sumo stance, and everything else should be good. If you got any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.